Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into how artificial intelligence is completely changing the game for recruitment. We're talking about moving from those endless piles of resumes to finding the absolute perfect matches using data.
I mean, if you're in HR or recruiting, this has got to hit close to home, right? You post one job and suddenly you're drowning in applications. It's a massive challenge trying to find that one true gem, the real needle in the haystack.
Look, the old school way of hiring just wasn't built for this. It's slow, it's clunky, it's easy to make mistakes, and the worst part? You could have the most amazing candidate in the world, but they're buried on page 73 of your applicant list, and you might never even see them.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with that big resume overload problem, and then see how we can automate the very first step. We'll meet Zia, your AI assistant, and break down exactly how AI finds those perfect matches. Then, we'll get into setting up workflows that work for you, and finally, look at the huge data-driven difference all of this makes. Let's get to it.
Okay, let's tackle the big one first, that initial wave of applications. You know, the key to bringing recruiting into the modern age really starts with automating how we handle all these resumes. This is where things start to get really interesting.
So, the foundational technology that makes all of this possible is called resume parsing. The best way to think about it is like a super intelligent translator. It can look at any resume, no matter the format, and automatically pull out all the key info like skills, experience, and contact details, then neatly organize it into clean, structured data inside your applicant tracking system, or ATS.
And what this means for you is, well, it's a huge deal. First off, say goodbye to mind-numbing manual data entry. The system also automatically spots if a candidate has applied before, so your database stays clean and free of duplicates. It handles pretty much any file format you can throw at it, PDFs, Word docs, you name it. And it makes sure work experience actually goes into the work experience field every single time. It's all about making things fast and accurate.
Okay, so you've got all this perfectly organized data. Now what? You need a brain to actually make sense of it all. And that's where an AI assistant like Zoho Recruit's Zia steps in. This is the intelligence layer that sifts through all that information for you.
And this right here, this is the real game changer. Think about it. The old way, you search for the keyword Java, right? But that doesn't tell you anything. Is this person an expert, or did they just mention it once 5 years ago? Zia understands context. It knows the difference between a must-have skill and a nice-to-have. And it actually looks at how recently and for how long someone has used a particular skill.
So, how does it actually work? How does the AI go from a pile of resumes to a perfectly ranked list of your best candidates? It's not magic, believe it or not. There's a real science behind it, and it all comes down to something called a match score. It really just comes down to 3 simple steps. First, Zia reads everything, the job description you wrote and the candidate's resume. Second, and you got to pay attention to this part, it acts as a gatekeeper. It automatically filters out anyone who doesn't have the non-negotiable must-have skills, so no more wading through unqualified applicants. Finally, it takes everyone who passed that filter and gives them a score, ranking them from best fit to worst.
And this chart, this breaks it all down perfectly. I mean, look at this. A whopping 40% of the score is based on whether a skill is a primary must-have or just a secondary nice-to-have. But it doesn't stop there. Skill proficiency and how recently they use that skill are also heavily weighted. It's a complete picture of a candidate, not just a keyword match.
So what's the bottom line? Does this stuff actually work?
Oh yeah. What we see is that when recruiters take the time to clearly define the skills they need, these AI tools deliver about a 30% increase in truly relevant, qualified candidates compared to just using old-fashioned search methods. That's a huge jump in quality.
All right, so finding the right people is one thing, but what about all the work that comes after that? You know, the endless emails, the status updates, the scheduling. Well, AI can put all those repetitive tasks on autopilot for you.
And the way this works is actually super simple. Seriously, it's just a basic, if this happens, then do that kind of rule. You pick a trigger, like when a candidate's status changes to shortlisted. You can add a condition if you want, like maybe this only applies to the software engineer job. And then you tell it what to do, like automatically send out a personalized next steps email.
The possibilities here are just huge. Think about it. Automatically sending personalized rejection emails so no one is left hanging. Automatically moving a candidate to the next stage in your pipeline. Automatically assigning a task to a recruiter to schedule an interview. It can even ping the hiring manager the second a great new candidate applies. All of that busy work just happens.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech,
But what's the actual payoff? What's the real-world difference? Well, this is where we get into the data, because an AI-driven process lets you measure your success and see just how big the impact is.
And honestly, these numbers are pretty staggering. Being able to fill roles up to 3 times faster, that's a massive competitive advantage. And reducing bias by up to 40%, that's not just a nice to have, it's absolutely crucial for building a strong, diverse, and innovative team. The AI focuses purely on skills and qualifications, which helps level the playing field for everyone.
So how do you actually track this kind of success? Well, you've got to measure the right things. And in the world of recruiting, we do that with what are called Key Performance Indicators, or KPIs. They give you the hard numbers you need to see what's working and what's not. And this table is super helpful for understanding the big ones. Time to Fill measures your overall process efficiency, from the moment a job opens to when an offer is accepted. Time to Hire is all about the candidate's journey, from when they apply to when they're hired. And Age of Job helps you spot roles that are going stale. By tracking these, you can find bottlenecks and make your process even better.
So when you put it all together, what does this all mean? It means the role of a recruiter is fundamentally changing. By letting AI handle the sorting, the scheduling, and the data entry, recruiters are freed up to do what humans do best: building relationships, engaging with top talent, and thinking strategically. They're not just administrators anymore. They're becoming true strategic partners to the business.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. If AI can take all that tedious busy work off your plate, what incredible things could you and your team achieve with all that extra time and focus? Thanks so much for joining me.